Do you ever wonder why the American, French, or Latin American Revolution occurred? These revolutions resulted good changes in the society, especially when it comes to rights and equality. If you don't know why these revolutions happened, well, let's begin with our topic. And first, we're going to talk about the American Revolution. The American Revolution was set between the years 1775 until 1783, also known as the American Revolutionary War and the U.S. War of Independence. The American Revolution also involves the 19th century shedding of control from Europe. One of the main events that led to the American Revolution, or the events that are caused by the American Revolution, includes the Boston Tea Party, the Boston Massacre, the Declaration of Independence, and the development of the Bill of Rights. During the American Revolution, the Declaration of Independence was developed, which was a major turning point in the American history. The Declaration of Independence was approved at the Constitutional Congress. It was supposedly to be written by Thomas Jefferson, with also the assistance of other few men, which were John Adams and Benjamin Franklin. The second event is the Boston Massacre. The Boston Massacre occurred on the 20th of March 1770, when a troop of British soldiers came to support the guard who was being pressed by a public speaking interrupter, which was then the cause of the death of a few men. The third event was the Boston Tea Party, which occurred in the year 1773. Another event is the development of the Bill of Rights. Proposed by James Madison on the 25th of September 1789, the Bill of Rights is a name for the first 10 rights or amendments to the United States Constitution. The Bill of Rights plays a central role in American law and government, and which remains a fundamental symbol of the freedoms of culture and nature. One of the reasons why the American Revolution started is because that the 13 British colonies in North America were supposedly upset over a lack of representative in the Parliament and pursued overtaxing. Or in other ways, you could say that the revolution began due to an open conflict between America and Great Britain. One of the leading men in the American Revolution includes Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, Benjamin Franklin, and John Adams. The Enlightenment was critical in determining maybe almost every aspect in the revolution in terms of politics, religion, and government. In terms of both the American and French Revolution, John Locke and Voltaire made the most connection between the two revolutions and the Enlightenment. John Locke, an English philosopher whose thoughts about the people's right and the government had a major change in the world of democracy and politics. Locke explained about how individuals can have certain natural rights in terms of life, liberty, health, and also property. This theory applies to the Declaration of Independence that Thomas Jefferson made. In Jefferson's letter, it also tells about how all men are and have to be treated equally and how they have the God-given right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. By this, it also given idea by Voltaire's theory of speech, which people have the rights to say their own opinion. To sum it all up, the American Revolution gave ideas or thoughts to the both French and Latin American Revolution. Now you know about the American Revolution, so now let's go and talk about the French Revolution. The French Revolution was set between the years 1789 until 1790. During this era, the French already has social, political, and economical issues, which will then lead to the French Revolution. To be exact, France suffered under an absolute monarchy, which means that most of the citizens were denied to have the basic rights. France divided into three classes, or you could say three estates. With this, the third estate, which is made up from almost the whole population, have the fewest rights, least amount of land, and the heaviest taxes that they need to pay. This was unfair to them because the third estate has the most population, along with them considered as the lowest. Economically, France faced and has a severe financial crisis. The key events of the French Revolution include the Declaration of Rights of Man, the Tennis Court Oath, and the Reign of Terror. The Declaration of Rights of Man is a document issued by the National Assembly on the 26th of August, 1789. The Declaration, which grew from the ideas of the Enlightenment, asserted that liberty is a natural right of man and that men are born free and equal. The second event is the Tennis Court Oath, which happened on the 20th of June 1789. And lastly is the Reign of Terror, which is a period of violence that occurred after the French Revolution. It happened between 1793 until 1794. One of the main figures in the French Revolution includes Napoleon Bonaparte, who was a French military and political leader during the Revolution. He was considered by most the savior of the French Revolution by ending it and putting in place a government that brought equality and stability to the country. The second figure is King Louis XVI, who was the King of France from 1774 until 1791. And the last figure is Maximilien Robespierre. He was known as the French lawyer and as well as a politician. He is also one of the best known and most influential figure in the French Revolution. Between the French, American, and Latin American Revolution, there are a few connections that could be pointed out. The French Revolution somehow showed, or you could say were also affected by the ideas of the Enlightenment. But unfortunately, it could really only be seen as the American Revolution really showed that they were in fact influenced by the Enlightenment through the Declaration of Independence. The French Revolution came after the American Revolution, and the movement that undertook by the French Revolution are quite similar to the Americans. In the Enlightenment idea, John Locke and Thomas Hobbes inspired the American, French, and Latin American Revolution about how men have to have freedom and that they should have every right that a citizen should have. Also, the connection between the French Revolution and the Enlightenment is that although the First and the Second Estate disagreed with the Enlightenment idea, the Third Estate was supposedly admired with the Enlightenment idea. We're down to the last revolution, so now we're going to talk about the Latin American Revolution. The Latin American Revolutions are also known as the Latin American Wars of Independence. It took place during the late 18th century and the 19th century. The main causes of the Latin American Revolution are supposedly because of the Enlightenment ideas, and the examples of the American and French Revolution. It is also said that the idea that reached Spanish colonies was of the victories American and French have in their revolutions. It is also said that the Latin Americans were basically tired, or you could say fed up, of their European control. In this case, there are many different revolutions in the Latin American revolutions, including the Mexican Revolution, which I am going to talk about later. The Mexican Revolution occurred from 1910 to 1920. It occurred due to disagreements among the Mexican people over dictatorship. One of the main events in the Mexican Revolution includes the Cry of Dolores, which occurred on the 16th of September 1810. It is when Padre Hidalgo rebelled against colonial Spain. The second event is the Pancho Villa action, which occurred on the 19th of March 1916, where Pancho Villa attacked the town of New Mexico to secure money and weapons. And lastly, the third event is the Battle of Alya, which occurred on the 6th of April 1915 when two titans of the Mexican Revolution fought against each other on the town of Alya. There are many key figures in both the Latin American and Mexican Revolution. For example, like Father Hidalgo, Lovator, Simon Bolivar, and Jose de Martin. But in the Mexican Revolution, we have Francisco Madero, Father Hidalgo, and Pancho Villa. Father Hidalgo is known as a Catholic priest and is called as the Father of Mexico. He called for a revolution against Spanish on the 16th of September, which was then celebrated as Mexico's Independence Day. The second figure is Francisco Madero. He was a Mexican politician who successfully removed the dictator of Mexico. He then became president in 1911. And lastly, the figure is Pancho Villa. He was a revolution leader in 1909. The connection between the Latin American, and French Revolution is that both of the revolutions influenced or gave the idea to the Latin Americans. The Latin American revolutions was inspired by the Enlightenment ideas, as these ideas were appealed to the people because they thought that all men were free and equal like any other. Like Hidalgo's actions, he took an action because Mexico was basically under the Spanish rule. If the ideas of the Enlightenment didn't exist or influence the Latin American at that time, several countries will still be under the Spanish control. We are finally finished, and I'm sure you know about all of the revolutions. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.